Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. With me today is the Welsh, and it's you. And we got a big story to start the show. Ooh, a lot of people watching live today because the Phillies fired their manager. Joe Girardi is gone. It is sayonara, Mr. Girardi. The Phillies have gone 132 and 141 under Joe Girardi, including a 22 and 29 stretch so far this season. Rob Thompson is going to take over as their interim manager. Now, Welsh, Joe Girardi certainly has a lot of experience as a manager, has also had a lot of moments in his managerial career where he has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I remember in the Marlins situation, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Had a lot of success in New York, but still rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah.
I remember when the Mets were looking for a manager, it was not the guy as a fan that I wanted, having lived the Joe Girardi cycle in New York already. But the Phillies, look, at the end of the day, they struggled mightily last year. They made a run in the second half. It was not enough. This year, off to the same dismal start. And look, they made investments in this team. They brought in Schwarber. They brought in Castellanos. They made moves that we all thought were really good in the offseason. So if you're not performing, eventually somebody's got to swing, and it looks like the swing is going to be Joe Girardi.
And sometimes for these guys, those incredible, awesome roster moves are the death of them because you can't waste the years. And I think that's obviously what the team looks at. You cannot waste these years of Bryce Harper. And what was it, 12 of 15 loss? You can't do that. There's also, you could question the underdevelopment of some of the young players. Bohm's kind of gone up and down. Stott didn't quite work out so far. What I'm curious about, though, because I find this still odd. I find it odd June 3rd that you're going and firing a, well-respected manager, regardless of all of this stuff. That what's the plan? What was Joe Girardi holding this team back on? I would love to hear that conversation. What's the thing with him gone? Because managers in baseball alone are kind of, such a different situation than NFL coaching. Yet you get team philosophies of stolen bases. Diamondbacks, Astros do not want to steal bases, which can be a little bit of a holdback. But what's the move going to change for this team now? Unless he was hated across the organization and players wanted him out. What will actually change with a baseball manager being fired in June?
Well, I think something that has been, it's been the Achilles heel of this Phillies team is that bullpen for quite some time. And his managing of the Yankee bullpen when he was Yankee manager also was not very well thought of or well received. I remember that very well and very vividly. And they won sometimes despite that because the payroll of the Yankees, the payroll of the Yankees cures a lot of ills and can make up for a lot of mistakes that managers make. And he made a lot of in-game ones that were magnified in the playoffs. But again, I'm not saying he's not a good baseball man. I'm not saying Joe Girardi hasn't earned his opportunities. He absolutely has. But the Phillies bullpen continues to be mismanaged, I think, over the years.
Okay.
And I think that you look at probably how the bullpen folks feel. I think it's got to come from some of the stars on the team too. I can only, again, it's not fair to speculate, but I think you can only look at when you have hard-nosed players like Bryce Harper, Schwarber is kind of a tough guy, Castellanos kind of a tough guy. If a manager is grading on those guys who are grinding tough guys, I think that says a lot. And I can only assume it's got to be part of the equation.
And you're right. And you know what? Someone just put it in the chat. The Truth posted, what Harper wants, Harper gets. I agree with that statement. And if that is the case, if Harper didn't like the managing style and wanted him out, okay, as stupid as it is, that makes sense. We don't need to lie to ourselves that star players in sports don't make these decisions. The LeBron James coaching joke that's always been out there. I get that. Little mismanaging. I would just love to hear, because what will be the philosophical change? And that's actually why the most sense makes that Bryce Harper did not defend him. If Bryce Harper wanted him to stay, there's no way you make this move in June because of a relatively short clip that's kind of been out, because I don't see what the philosophical change in this team is going to be. Are they going to run more? Are they going to have a different rotation of what they do in their bullpen? Their starters, Kyle Gibson had been playing well. They're fine. Like, they've been relatively fine. What is the philosophical change outside of just saying, screw it, he's done, he sucks, we don't like him, bye? And Bryce Harper does not give the stamp of approval to keep him, and we get our first big move of baseball managers kicking rocks.
Yeah, and the ripple effect here is that I think it's pretty clear now that the Phillies may respond to this. Sometimes this typically happens. So the short term, sometimes you get a little boost from this. It happens in the NFL every year, but sometimes in Major League Baseball it happens too, where just the little change. So
Yeah.
monitor the Phillies very closely in the wagering market and in the fantasy market. This might be a great time to buy some Phillies on the cheap to see if maybe a different voice or maybe just not Joe Girardi's presence changes the tone of the locker room or
Interesting.
of the clubhouse. Because I think there's always a short term. Typically, there's at least the opportunity for a short term boost across
Boost
the
the
board
next
with these
man
guys.
up. Yeah, the support. You would
But
hope. You would hope
but
that the
it
next
might
man
not be
up
a
is a team
long-winded
supporting
thing.
guy.
You would hope so, but again, it might not be long sustained. And
Well, I'll
that's
tell you
the thing
this:
to get to.
they've been so bad that everybody's going to instantly be like, "What a great move this is!" When they start winning a couple games. That's what's so stupid and weird about the
Right.
situation.
Right.
They
They'll
can
go
win
5-2 and they'll think, oh, look, it's a complete turnaround.
Joe
But, yeah.
Girardi, what a disaster he was. What a great move this is for, who'd you say was this, the lead singer of Matchbox 20 became the new manager? Rob Thomas?
I want to push you around. Well, I will.
I will.
I love 90s guys singer
wanna
voice. It's my
push
favorite
you
thing. You can sing
down.
any song from the 90s in that voice. I have become cumbersome. It's the same as it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. It's the same voice. Same voice.
There we go.
Same things. It's awesome. Can't get enough of it.
But
But
we should
anyway,
do
let's
that.
get to some
We
other
should do
headlines.
90 singing Fridays. We'll just do
90s
that. We'll do a
guy.
singing segment of like, oh, well, let's talk about the stat heroes.
Yeah, we're losing viewers the more we sing, so we should stop.
Bye.
All right, let's go to Trey Turner extending his hit streak to 25 games. Paul Goldschmidt right behind him with 24. Those guys stayed red hot. Craig Kimbrell notches the save on Thursday against the Mets. Tony Gonsolin continues to be unbelievable. 6-inning gem against the Mets. Travis d'Arnaud hitting 2 bombs. The Royals made a move, acquiring Albert Abreu in a trade with the Rangers. Jameson Taillon takes a perfect game into the 8th, gets a W. Sandy Alcantara continues to be amazeballs, blanking the Giants over 7 innings. Now, Welsh, Alcantara right now over on FanDuel is plus 800 for the Cy Young. I think this is a fascinating time to start investing in Alcantara for this market. 8-1 is great odds. You could throw $10 there and win 80 and just sit and watch it. And again, if he continues to be great over the next 6 weeks, that number will probably get cut in half. And then you can put another 20 on that. You don't have to invest a lot to enjoy wagering on baseball and to enjoy the futures market here when it comes to awards. But Alcantara, I think, has really put himself now into the national consciousness for this award. Musgrove, I think, is in that conversation. He's also at that same 8-1. And of course, Corbin Burns is still at the top. But now that Scherzer's out of the equation, DeGrom's out of the equation completely, we knew that. All of a sudden, some of these other guys are going to start to get more publicity. What do you think?
I really like Sandy. I've actually watched Sandy directly his last 3 starts because I've done pitching props on him, and I believe, if I'm correct, he's at least hit the over on his strikeout props in his last 3. Did yesterday. That was one that I played as well. He looks phenomenal. He goes deep into games. He does not get bogged down. So many pitchers this year, especially whenever I bet on them, will have these 20, 25 pitch innings. And Sandy Alcantara is efficient. The changeup phenomenal, controls the zone. He just it's actually kind of like Nestor Cortez in that when you watch Nestor Cortez, sometimes you're just like, I can't believe we're not even talking about him too, completely outdueling.
Well, we are.
Ohtani.
Oh, we got a whole Nestor Cortez segment lined up.
Nestor sometimes he does things where you're just like, how are these pitchers so fooled? And, he likes to play off of messing with timing. I saw some quick pitches in the first inning of yesterday's game. His pitches don't seem like they are so wildly incredible, yet you will get guys completely fooled out of their brain. So sometimes they can pitch from behind. Sandy Alcantara kind of has the same thing. His stuff is awesome, but he fulfills it to the very, very top where he looks like one of the best pitchers. You trust he's going to go 7 every game. You trust he's going to strike out 6+ every game, and he will dominate every game on a Marlins team that, would probably give you a little bit of pause. So yeah, I agree. I think if you want to have some fun, if you like doing the Cy Young, the award stuff in midseason, put a couple bucks on it. Sandy is a killer choice for the NL Cy Young.
Couple of injury notes real quick. Willy Adames making his way back 1 for 3 in the rehab start. So he should come back probably, I would think, early next week. I would imagine maybe sooner. We shall see. I don't know exact days for him, but Lindor was out yesterday because of the finger injury too. Slammed his finger into a into a Lindor, and unfortunately was unable to play. So also shout out to James Geary, who won the Wander Franco autograph bat here. Again, we just give away free stuff just for hanging out with us. So if you're
when did we have that?
We had that last month. It was last month in May. We had the Wander Franco bat. We gave it away.
It's gone.
We're just giving things away.
Who won the
shirts? Giving it away.
Who won May? And the home
run.
Home run contest.
We had a three-way win for May for the t-shirts. Those three names I do have. Let me just pull that up here. But while I'm looking for that, let's talk about this, because Nestor Cortez once again was unbelievable. Lowest whips in Major League Baseball right now is Verlander at 0.8, Burns at 0.82, Nestor Cortez at 0.83. Jeff Passan tweeted this. Cortez's ERA is down to 1.5 after 7 shutout innings. 36th round pick by the Yankees, returned to them as a Rule 5 pick in Baltimore, and then traded to Seattle, got released back to New York. Is there a better story than Nestor Cortez right now?
No. I mean, Nestor Cortez looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball. He shouldn't, but he does. It's those guys, man. I fall in love with those guys that screw it timing. It's something I've always loved about Jesus Luzardo. Johnny Cueto is the most famous for it, for just being just kind of crazy and messing with timing. It is peak efficiency, and Nestor comes out there. And, to be fair, I always kind of talk about his stuff feeling average. Bro's 94. And he just moves it all around. He is incredibly fun to watch. And it is an incredible story too. I always love those. Like, what was it? Like Johan Santana. Wasn't he like a Rule 5?
He was a Rule 5 guy.
Yeah,
the Astros,
like that,
I believe, if memory serves.
Yeah, those are always like really uniquely fun stories. And he's got that path. He's got that path where he was just couldn't do anything. Also, just side note, if you think about the New York Yankees and how they develop, really great minor league prospect systems, they have had great pitching prospects for quite some time. To think that Nestor Cortez is maybe the most valuable outside of Garrett Cole pitcher on this team, when they've had guys like Davey Garcia, Luis Medina in the minors, Luis Severino has developed, and just a handful more. It is relatively incredible, even beyond just that story of Rule 5 and changing teams and being bought back. Also, that is not, Yankees are not an organization that have like minor leaguers or minor league pitching. No, it's really good. Huge names, big names.
Yeah, definitely. And also, to answer your question, there were 3 people, the 3-way tie, who won the t-shirts. DeBlum, Title Chaser 90, and Drew all called 12 home runs in the month of May. And 2 of the 3 got multiple homers from Eugenio Suarez on May 6th, the greatest Yahoo player that ever lived.
Well, greatest Yahoo player. Yeah. It didn't work out yesterday for everybody.
Which again, now somebody counteracted that on Twitter and also said, I don't know what the hell Mayor was pulling up, but this is not true. So I don't know what Mayor was looking at, what stat thing.
Well, they had an all-time line too. They called Mayor the Thief of Joy, which was an all-time line.
I mean, that is the greatest title for Mike Mayer ever. I'm gonna have the overlay change next time he's on the show. So underneath, or Welsh's face on the YouTube channel where it says Chris Welsh, instead it's gonna say Thief of Joy.
Oh,
that's gonna be
you have to. God. But just want to point out that is four cool things that were given away in the month of May to listeners of the show. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Wander Franco autograph bat. And 3 t-shirts for leading off. I mean, unbelievable stuff. Yeah. Also,
little gap.
It wasn't all roses for Nestor Cortez, because Jim Cott once again put his foot in his mouth. And Jim Cott was a great pitcher. Jim Cott is a great announcer, but Jim Cott needs to step aside. I think it's time for him to, or at least be more careful. I know he called him Nestor the molester. It's just not a good look. And the mustache of Nestor Cortez doesn't help.
It doesn't help. We all have those moments where we say things and you kind of catch yourself in the moment. And you're like, oh, that was stupid. And you could kind of laugh at it. He definitely should have immediately been like, my bad, because it's not just a horrific name, but yeah, Nestor Cortez, the look also doesn't fit. It's not great. Why do the old grandpa announcers and play-by-play, why do they say so many stupid things? Is it because there's such a large number of them that are talking so much? The amount of dumb things where they start to talk about players' money and their chains and bat flips,
stupid things we say.
Oh,
but yes, God. there is a bit of that old guard in Major League Baseball announcing that has. You got to realize these guys work more than 162 games a year because they're also working spring training. That's a lot of talking. 3 hours straight a day. I mean, I do more than that in a day typically, but I don't do it continuous. I'll do 2 hours here and then an hour later in the afternoon, an hour later then. It's a lot. And eventually, yes, sometimes you go a little cross-eyed, you say stupid things, but man,
I mean,
man alive. Like, it's you can get away with it because you're old sometimes. You're like, oh, don't, just ignore grandpa.
that's it. That's it. It's just the old, just your brain just starts to fry. You're just like, let me tell you about my opinions on the economy. Like that, just stop. Like stop with those things. And these old guys really need
nothing will ever beat
guards
the Tom Brenneman and
No.
the fly ball to left field. And I think I've lost my job.
I'm so
Whatever
deeply sorry. And there's a fly ball.
I'm so deeply sorry. And there's a fly ball to left.
All-time moment. You know what? Now that I think about it, let's not get rid of these guys. What would we be without these type of moments? We need levity. We need stupidity in baseball.
I think everybody deserves second chances. And I think everybody has to understand these jobs are hard. And sometimes you say things and you go, oops, it just, look, it's not great. But,
hey, sometimes you call someone.
These guys need to get over themselves too. They need to realize that this is not 1985 anymore. And the game has changed and the people in it have changed. And you've got to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings too. Like they've got to, the problem is they don't work to improve because they've already established themselves. So there's no incentive for them to establish themselves and to improve unless it's to not lose your job. That's the only problem with these guys.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you that you are like how you are. You're very optimistic about the whole thing. And you kind of have, I love the attitude of like, hey, sometimes we call people molesters and stuff. That's totally normal, right?
No, but he didn't mean it like, he didn't mean it like that. He went he meant it to be like, hey, it rhymes. He was too excited with the fact that it rhymed and he didn't think about the repercussions of what he was rhyming it with.
Yeah, those kids love that rap music. Gotta make sure I gotta get a rhyme in here. No, you don't.
Let's quit this before we say something stupid. Sandy Alcantara, fun facts. Here we go. He ranks first in ERA in the National League, first in xERA, first in innings pitch, first in wins. He's tied for with 6, I should say. 11 starts, first, 1.91 opponent's batting average. He is second. He is plus 800 right now on FanDuel to bet. I would go ahead and bet that. He's probably plus 800 on BetMGM and a couple other places as well. 8 quality starts, 71 strikeouts is third. The 8 quality starts is tied for second, and the whip is tied for third at 0.98. Unbelievable. Also, fun fact, yesterday was the first time since 1945 that a player served as a starting pitcher in a matinee before starting the second game of a doubleheader as a non-pitcher, of course. Shohei Ohtani, once again, making baseball history. Here you go, Welsh. I know you love the trivia. Tony Gonsolin yesterday leads the National League in ERA at 1.59. Who was the last Dodgers pitcher to finish as the NL ERA leader? And it is not Clayton Kershaw for all you peanuts and Cracker Jacks. So who's the last Dodger to lead the league in ERA? Drop your potential choices right there.
You know what? It's funny. I was looking at the next thing. I was looking at the next thing, and I'm like, I guess not a Dodger. Like, how is this the answer? Like, you don't have the answer in there. I was like, these do not.
Well, I didn't put the answer because you keep yelling at me. I put in the answer, and you want to guess.
Okay, so again, it's Tony Gonsolin led. Who's the last Dodgers pitcher to finish as the NL ERA? Oh, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, it's not Clayton Kershaw.
Not
the last one.
Lies.
The last one. It's not lies.
Oh, was it? Wait. Was it Yever Yower?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Yever Yower or anyone who rhymes with that. This day in baseball history in 1995, the Expos pitcher, Pedro Martinez, yes, the Expos pitcher, is perfect for 9 innings in San Diego, but loses a no-hitter when Bip Roberts, a name from the past, doubles to lead off the 10th. Montreal eventually comes away with a 1-0 win, but he lost the no-hitter in 10 innings. Stat heroes yesterday. Tyon was great. 8 innings, 5 Ks, 1 earned. Alcantara and Cortez, we talked about them. Gonsolin, 5 Ks, no earned, 6 innings. I still say the wheels have got to come off eventually. Gonsolin can't be this good this long.
Well, it can't be.
I can't buy it. Sure. I can't. Graham Ashcraft. Again, now I almost screwed it up.
Watch out there,
7
Yankees,
innings,
play
5 Ks for Ashcraft. Ashcraft. Sean Manaea. That's a great Tony Danza word, isn't it? Ashcraft. Ashcraft's a great pitcher. Mona, Samantha, Jonathan, Ashcraft. Sean Manaea, 1 earned, 6 innings, 8 Ks, and Alek Manoah, 5 Ks over 7 2/3, 3 earned. Travis d'Arnaud, 2 dingers yesterday. Schwindel hit a home run. So did Jorge Alfaro. Was the catcher's going yard. Joey Votto, who was our cheap lineup guy of the night last night. Oh, look, another home run for Joey Votto, Teoscar Hernandez. Last week's buy low candidate, starting to show signs of life, 2 for 5 with a dinger. Harrison Bader with a home run. Kyle Farmer hit a home run. Connor Joe, 2 for 3, and Charlie Blackmon.
All the guys you hope. All the guys you put your hopes in yesterday, of course. The Kyle Farmers, the Jace Petersons, and the Connor Joes. Everybody that you wanted to succeed yesterday. Thank you so much, Jason Connor.
The answer is here, by the way, and I believe, if I'm looking correctly, Jesse was the first one. Ryu.
Okay, that's a pretty good one.
That's the last guy to do it. There you have it.
When
the
he
last
was valuable.
guy to lead the National League ERA before his arm's falling off, which it is right now. Stat zeros. Austin Gomber, 9 earned runs in 5 innings. Ian Anderson, 5 earned runs in 6 innings. Boy, Ian Anderson not going in the right direction. Matthew Liberatore was disappointing. I'll take the L on that one. Taylor Rogers, 4 earned runs, did not get an out. Last 3 outings, 3 losses, 2 blown saves.
Trash.
What is the Padres ownership to do here with Taylor Rogers? What do we do?
Get more arms. Get all the arms. I mean, I thought you were rhetorical. I thought you were being rhetorical.
They made this move. It looked good in April. Now we're sitting here, and all of a sudden, it doesn't look so great. So I guess the question is this a blip on the radar here? These last few outings, is it a mechanical issue? Craig Kimbrell just had a mechanical issue. He fixed it. If you're the Padres, what do you do here? Do you take him out of the role, or do you look for more help? What's the deal?
I mean, the problem is like, they had Suarez, who was like a far off thought, who can throw 100 but can't throw a strike. They just don't have the other arms to go to, unless obviously, unless they were to start taking all those starting pitchers and put someone back there. I think you got to stick through it, unless it gets too bad. I mean, unless it's like the Phillies and you lost 10 and you fire him like Girardi. I think you got to stick through it. He's been phenomenal all season. It's fallen off a little bit. This happens with these relievers, but you don't want to kill confidence. Give him a couple days off. Put someone else in there. You don't have Pierce Johnson right now. Give someone else a shot. Bring him back. See if you can get it. And if this continues, then obviously, what will they do? What would Preller do? Go buy. Go trade. Go make moves. That's what he'll do.
Mike Trout 0 for 6, 3 Ks. Shohei Ohtani 1 for 8 with 3 Ks. Joey Gallo 1 for 7, 3 Ks. Pete Alonso for 4, 3 Ks. Christian Yelich 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Christian Yelich hitting $120 over his last 7 games. And Randy Arozarena 0 for 5. I'm done with Yelich. Look, Yelich and Bellinger was like the hot discussion in preseason. One of these guys can bounce back. Who's that guy going to be? Yeah. I want nothing to do with either one of them. And I'm so glad I got 0 shares, Welsh, because it's been a hot mess. And I thought there was this little glimmer of hope there when Yelich hit that cycle and he had a good week. I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to turn things around. But look, I understand Willy Adames getting hurt didn't help. I understand there's not a ton of lineup protection, but geez, man. I mean, like this Yelich window, we're going to look back at Yelich as one of these guys that was like, remember that 2-year window? That was awesome. It's like that Chris Farley interview on SNL when he say, remember when you were in
Christian, the Beatles?
Remember you in the Beatles?
Yeah, no, that's good. Awesome. We were gonna look back at that Marlins team. I do that all the time, where it's like, can you believe they had Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton at one time? And Yelich looks like the worst.
And Jose Fernandez.
We just did. We were just talking with Frank Stamfel from CBS on ITL about this exact thing. It is this exact thing you're saying, Yelich and Bellinger, because it's so funny. Because what's ended up happening is it's all irrelevant. It doesn't matter at this point. There is no winner. Everybody loses, and the bigger part of the conversation is, these guys are no longer in that space where we're like, hey, this is kind of a value. Could we get back to this? No, this is who they actually are. And that's what we have to come to terms with. Bellinger's not good. And I don't know if it's a change of scenery or whatever it is. He's an 8 or 9 hitter at best on the Dodgers who hits 230. The best you're going to get out of Yelich, it looks like, is a 240-ish hitter who could have better counting stats because of the stolen bases and whatnot. But there is no more building the upside on these players. We draft them because, hey, we could get this. It's like, no, we have to come to terms with this is who those players are. And if you want to play upside, there's probably going to be 100, 150 better names come next year than diving into either one of those guys.
You want to call them combined? You want to call them Belich or Yellinger? What's the better combine?
100%. Belich for sure. Yeah, it sounds more like aggressive, like Belich.
Speaking of aggressive, it's time to get aggressive on that prop market. It's time for BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Bet $10, win $200. No matter what the outcome of the game, when you sign up today using the promo code leading off for BetMGM, download the app or go to betmgm.com. Bet responsibly and When you do, use that promo code leading off. Again, $10 wins you 200. Thanks to us here at Leading Off. That's one word, leading off. That's the promo code. Go put some money on Sandy Alcantara for NL Cy Young and Nestor Cortez for AL Cy Young at 800 to 1 because it's a good spot right now. Or not 800 to 1, actually 8 to 1 plus 800.
800 to 1.
800 to 1. Oh, let
give
me
it
run.
to me,
No,
please.
plus 800.
Please.
See, there you go. I said something stupid. Now someone's gonna Jim caught me. So there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
totally the
on.
same thing. Totally the same.
Totally the same thing. Shane Bieber on DraftKings tonight. The strikeout total number is 5.5. We have him over on FantasyPros against Baltimore at 8.5. Minus 120 is the juice. That looks like a really good investment. Over on BetMGM, Jose Ramirez total bases 1.5. The juice is minus 106. That's not bad for a guy of that nature. Also, Pete Alonso, after a rough night, maybe bouncing back tonight against Anderson, the lefty, for the Dodgers, plus 110, 1.5 total bases. Welsh, anything strike your fancy on the prop market tonight?
Well, how about that 3-0 day yesterday for me too? Ian Anderson 3.5 was my number. Took that. That was plus money. I think it was even or plus money. He hit 9, and I hit my 2 total base over. So 3-0 yesterday, friendos. I don't know if I haven't dug through every single thing. I might tweet out a couple. I don't love the options you have this week. And here's part of the problem is there's such big names, and the big names are getting tougher. You're not getting a whole bunch of advantages on players like Sandy's strikeout yesterday was 5.5. That will be 6.5 next week. There's no way they're going to let you play at anything lower. And that's what's happening to the rest of these guys. I do have 2 bigger names. I still like to play Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert at 5.5 strikeouts. It's a little dicey. I think he's hit that number 5. He's 5-4 essentially on that number, but I like the matchup. And this one, I really don't play these a whole lot, but I think I might hear Shane McClanahan strikeouts is at 7.5. I think I would take the under on that. He absolutely can go over, but White Sox strike out the 4th least in baseball per game, and they're not on any. That was something I took advantage of with Ian Anderson, that the Rockies didn't strike out necessarily as much, but they had currently been striking out a decent amount. White Sox are kind of in that same role in that same period of time that I don't know if I love this matchup for McClanahan, especially with how patient they are and hitting 8 strikeouts. So I actually think I might hit the under on that. And I think it's juice though at 140. So maybe I put 2 together. There's a couple total base ones out there, but I'm not in love like I was yesterday. But those are 2 that I kind of dig.
All right, let's look to the slate tonight and looking ahead over on DraftKings for DFS. Shane Bieber at 9.8, a good investment. Merrill Kelly, 6.8, super cheap as a secondary arm. Garrett Cole is going to be the chalk tonight, and that's fine at 10.9. Shane McClanahan at 9.6. My only problem with McClanahan tonight also is without Wander Franco in that lineup, I just have very little faith. I know it's Velasquez they're going against, and I should have more faith, but still, it's just, I worry about the win. I worry about them scoring runs. Like he can be brilliant and get a no decision, and that I'm staying away from tonight.
Yeah,
he's 6.5. He's super cheap too.
And I just want to point out, like, he's nasty. I think from a dynasty perspective, he's the number 1 pitcher. This is the guy that you go with. It's just White Sox, they can run counts. They can run his pitch count up. There's not a lot of offensive support. I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm not sure that like the wins are going to be there for a time. But I hate this offense without Wander Franco right now. And McClanahan, I don't like it with the best Wander of the Franco. Best, but yeah, well, I like it better. I like it better.
All right. If you want to be a little different tonight, you can go with Logan Gilbert and Chris Bassett together and kind of fade the top guys. 8.6 for Gilbert, 8.1 for Bassett. Musgrove and Burns are going against each other. So you're going to have to pick a side here. Now, if I'm going to pick a side, I'm going to pick the Musgrove side. But once again, both these sides have problems. And I think if you're going to spend up, you might as well just go all the way to the top and try to get Garrett Cole because the path to the win is just much clearer there for him because Burns right now, the offense of the Brewers isn't great. And we just talked about the Padres blowing saves. So again, these guys could both be awesome at the end of the day, not get the W, and that could cost you. On FanDuel, Garrett Cole 10.8. He's cheaper than Shane McClanahan. I would take it safer path to the win. Musgrove and Burns, same thing. You could pick a side. The nice thing is that like all these big pitchers tonight on FanDuel are all pretty much in that same range. So you could just make a good lineup that you like offensively and then look around for some of the pitchers and switch around. You know, hopefully if you're going to play multi-entry tonight, and tonight's a good night to do it in tournaments, just one of those lineups hopefully will really come through. The good names tonight in terms of BVP, you're looking at, honestly, there's not a whole lot, but the one guy that kind of sticks out to me is Cesar Hernandez, who's been very quietly good at the top of that Nationals lineup, and it's not a good lineup. Nelson Cruz also has good numbers against minors, so keep that in mind tonight. Home run call. Well, I actually forgot to put mine in there this morning when I was doing all the show sheets. I remembered finally, oh, wait, I forgot to put my guy in. I'm going with Aaron Judge for the weekend against the Tigers. I'm going to take the fish in the barrel because I want to be on that board. We come back here on Monday. I want to see that name of Joey P up on that board. Welsh, who's your home run call for the weekend? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I like it, and that's the play, my friend. That's a smart thing to do here. My home run call, I'm going to go with Vladdy Jr. to get it going. Some good over numbers too on the Minnesota and Blue Jays. Just like even today's line is like 9.5 right now, and I'm going to be looking for him to pick it back up, get me a couple homers, and get me back into this race a little bit. So Vladdy Jr. Friday through Sunday for moi.
Hey, I got Matt Olson going. You should get Vladdy going. Let's go. Everybody gets going. Mike Mayer, the thief of joy, is going to take Bryce Harper. So he expects an immediate response from Joe Girardi's firing of now I'm free and running in a meadow. We'll see what other shoes are going to drop here over the weekend. Certainly the injuries are starting to pile up a wee bit. It's been a little frustrating. Grayson Rodriguez did indeed get the lat strain diagnosis yesterday. Not fun. I assume in the month of June, we are going to get some team to make a move for a pitcher. I don't know who's going to blink first, but I feel like somebody's going to be aggressive on that market sooner than later. Castillo, Montas, Perez, one of these guys is going to get moved. Also, Welsh, anything you're looking for this weekend to keep an eye on for everybody?
One guy I would take a look at if he got back out on the wire, just throwing it out there, is be on the lookout for CJ Abrams. If you want to look at the prospect market, CJ Abrams has been absolutely dominating AAA, made one of the most insane plays. Go back and just do a type on Twitter it was Jeter-esque, but better. I mean, just one-handing in the outfield from shortstop and throwing it to first. Great defensively. He's been playing center and short. He's been hitting like crazy. And I think that offense could use a little boost here coming soon. So I don't know. I think I would be preemptively getting CJ Abrams back, as I think a call should be coming here pretty soon for the Padres.
There you go. All right. That'll do it for us. Reminder, make sure you use that promo code leading off when you go to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB, because we just dropped the latest waiver wire ad article. The buy low, sell high videos have come out. The waiver wire video is out. Everything's out for you and your consumption. So go check it out and be a peanut or a Cracker Jack or both. And join our little club here. We love having all of you. I love all you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some nice weather. It looks like at least in Jersey, we're going to get some nice weather finally after it rained all morning. And we hope you guys come back again Monday and join us again, because we're here every single Monday through Friday, live noon Eastern, right here on Fantasy Pros MLB. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Bye-bye.